in our streets, in our homes, and in the lives of the people that we love. Every single person standing with us today represents a piece of that reality. We are here with someone who has recovered, living proof that recovery is real, that it is possible. We are here with someone who walks into the encampments with compassion, who sees the humanity in people, for their longing for safety, and their quiet hope for a different life. We are here with a business owner who's been shaken by the change in our downtown, who's watched a once vibrant downtown now struggle under the weight of this crisis. We are here with a parent whose child is in active addiction, fighting for their child's life and begging for a system that responds. And we are here with our neighbors who want compassion, but also want safety, security, and a community that they can trust. These stories are not separate. They're one story, the story of a community that is hurting, remaining hopeful, and refusing to give up. Our region is spending over $80,000 every single month just to manage the Victoria Street encampment. This is not including ambulance, fire, or police services. And the other sanctioned encampment, 40 Sheds, has a yearly budget of $5.76 million. That's $144,000 per year per shed. This current government has spent billions over the last decade, but the crisis has only worsened because of bad policies that do not get people into recovery. Massive spending commitments should not be the goal. We need to focus on outcomes of our drug policies. Right now, families are still losing loved ones, businesses are still struggling, neighborhoods are still unsafe, and people who want the help are still being told to wait. But there is hope, real hope, because in the past few years, some provincial governments, including Ontario, have begun shifting their focus towards recovery. It's a call echoed by the big city mayors of Ontario, who are asking for action to strengthen and rehabilitation and recovery across Ontario. This is a good start. It shows what's possible when governments choose change over complacency. Now, we need the same commitment from our federal government and across every province, territory, and city in Canada. Because the truth is simple. People can recover. People do recover when the right supports exist at the right moment. And when recovery takes hold, families heal. Businesses come back, neighborhoods feel safe, and communities can breathe again. This is why every level of government, regional, municipal, federal, and provincial, must come together. We cannot keep passing the hot potato. We cannot keep shifting responsibility. We cannot keep building systems that leave people waiting until it's too late. We need mental health supports. We need more recovery beds, and we need instant access to treatment. That's exactly what my motion in committee calls for: measurable outcomes, accountability, prevention, early intervention, treatment, recovery, housing stability, and collaboration across every level of government. And the bills put forward by my Conservative colleagues like Luke Berthold and my bill allowing court-ordered rehabilitation and treatment would turn recovery into reality. We are joined today by the Leader of the Opposition, the Honourable Pierre Poilievre, and our Shadows Minister for Addictions, Todd Doherty, who, along with the Conservative Party, understand the importance of getting this right. Because this is a human issue. It demands leadership across every corner of government. Today, we stand together in grief, in courage, in compassion, and in determination to say the time for coordinated action is now. And we will not stop until meaningful change is delivered, because something needs to change. I am incredibly honored to introduce the leader of His Majesty's Royal Opposition, Pierre Poilievre. I just want to say one thing. I knew that under his leadership, I would be supported with my own story. Because in the last election, Pierre said that addicts are superheroes that nobody knows about because they climb a mountain that nobody can see. And there is so much truth in that statement. And he's a piece of the reason why I actually felt for the first time in my life that I would be comfortable to run. And man, was I right. He's been incredibly supportive across the entire process of sharing the story and coming here today. So please welcome the Honorable Pierre Poilievre.
Thank you very much to the incredible Kelly DeRitter, not just for including me here today in this beautiful park, what a pristine place, but also for the incredible story that she brought to the floor of the House of Commons. This is a woman who has been to the bottom of the valley, but has climbed to the top, mountaintop. And she has done it through courage and perseverance. And the fact that she has survived through this journey has given her superpowers that most of us could not even dream of having. We are here today in the very same place where Kelly used to sleep. Where was the bench?
On the way other side.
On the other side.
Yeah.
So she went from a park bench, sleeping on a park bench, to sitting in a seat in Canada's House of Commons. What an incredible story of hope. And now she wants to see a million more stories like that. That's what we need. We need to replicate this story right across the country. So my message to anyone out there who might be addicted and suffering, have hope, hang on, hope and help are on the way. We're going to get you there. And I want to thank, we've got Todd Doherty, our shadow minister responsible for this file, who's traveled all the way out here, a great champion who's fought particularly to save the lives of suffering first responders who are scarred by much of the courageous work they have to do. We have Connie Cody from Cambridge, one of our great members of Parliament, and we're here today to fight to restore the promise of Canada, that hard work gets you a great life on a safe street, in a house you can afford, with a mortgage you can pay down, meat and potatoes on the dinner table every single night, and a beautiful Canadian flag hanging off your front porch, representing that we as a nation always put Canada first. Je suis content d'être ici avec Kelly DeRitter, députée conservatrice pour Kitchener Centre, une femme extraordinaire qui a survécu la dépendance de drogue, mais qui est devenue une femme d'affaires, qui a travaillé dans le domaine de technologie. Elle a géré des ingénieurs et maintenant elle représente les gens ici. Dans les derniers jours, j'ai parlé aux dizaines de citoyens à travers le Canada, les gens qui veulent un Canada qui est abordable chez nous, qui est sécuritaire chez nous et maître chez nous. J'ai entendu des inquiétudes des mères monoparentales qui ne peuvent plus payer leurs factures, des jeunes qui ne peuvent plus acheter des maisons, des petites entreprises qui risquent à perdre tout à cause des politiques inflationnistes des libéraux de Mark Carney. Encore, on a eu des inquiétudes par rapport aux tarifs. C'est pour ça que je demande à M. Carney de respecter sa promesse électorale, d'obtenir une meilleure entente de ce qu'on avait auparavant. Une entente sans tarif qui va permettre à nos secteurs de l'aluminium, de l'acier, de l'auto et de bois d'œuvre d'être compétitifs aux États-Unis. Comme je le dis depuis longtemps, on est là pour travailler avec le gouvernement afin d'obtenir un bon deal pour le Canada. Les conservateurs mettent le Canada d'abord et on se bat pour les emplois. Les conservateurs se battent pour des plus gros chèques de paie pour tout le monde. Mais en même temps, on reconnaît que M. Carney a créé une économie terrible, là où les banques alimentaires débordent avec la demande. Il a doublé la dette nationale. Les libéraux ont doublé le coût de logement. Le déficit est maintenant 2 fois plus grand avec M. Carney que ça l'a été avec M. Trudeau. Le Canada est le seul pays qui est entré en récession depuis l'arrivée au pouvoir de M. Carney. Le pire inflation alimentaire du G7, le pire niveau d'endettement des familles au G7 et le deuxième pire taux de chômage au G7. Parmi 38 pays de l'OCDE, l'économie de M. Carney est le deuxième pire. Les conservateurs travaillent pour renverser ces politiques-là et nous reconnaissons qu'on ne devrait pas accepter un mauvais entente qui mette des tarifs sur un côté lorsqu'on ne le fait pas de l'autre. On ne peut pas accepter une situation où nos entreprises de l'acier, de l'aluminium, de l'auto et de bois d'œuvre payent des tarifs au Canada en même temps qu'ils font concurrence avec des entreprises américaines qui paient zéro. Ça, c'est une politique de déindustrialisation. Donc, nous demandons à M. Carney de ne pas soumettre notre économie à une mauvaise entente. Gardez votre promesse électorale, M. Carney. Défendez nos travailleurs. Les conservateurs ont un vrai plan pour libérer les énergies de notre économie, enlever les lois anti-développement, éliminer la taxe carbone industrielle, suspendre toutes les taxes sur l'essence pour le reste de l'année et jusqu'au 1er juillet pour réduire le coût de la vie et permettre nos entreprises de faire concurrence, inciter l'approbation rapide de construction de logements et couper les taxes et les impôts sur le travail, l'énergie, la construction de logements et l'investissement. C'est comme ça que nous allons être abordables chez nous, sécuritaires chez nous, et maître chez nous. Today, we're here met in this beautiful park to reflect on the promise of this incredible country of ours. A country where people were raised to believe if they worked hard, they would have a house they could afford, a mortgage they could pay off, meat and potatoes on the dinner table, as I said, or whatever your favorite dietary preference. You could have good food, a good home, in a good neighborhood, and you would be safe. But increasingly, that promise is broken. As Liberals have doubled the national debt, Mr. Carney has since doubled the deficit inherited by Justin Trudeau. We have the worst food price inflation in the G7, the worst household debt in the G7, the worst housing costs in the G7, and the second highest unemployment in the G7. We now see that the bankruptcy, the Office of Superintendent of Bankruptcies filing shows that levels of insolvencies are at their highest level since the Great Global Recession 17 years ago. Canadians are once again facing higher costs and greater uncertainty as the cost of Carney piles on their grocery bills, their mortgage bills, and all other bills. Now, Conservatives are also following carefully and fighting hard with regards to the forthcoming hopeful deal with the United States. Mr. Carney promised in the last election that he would be elbows up. He promised that he would negotiate a win, in his words. He promised, and I quote, that he could handle Trump. He promised he would not accept a bad deal. Mr. Carney, keep your promise. Fight for Canada. Don't take a bad deal. We expect a good deal, like you promised. And in fact, Mr. Carney said that he would get an even better deal than we had before. Well, before we had no tariffs. So we expect that he would at least match that. We are concerned about rumors that Mr. Carney might be willing to cave and accept one-sided tariffs that would ultimately put our businesses at a competitive disadvantage. If our aluminum, steel, lumber, and automobile companies are paying tariffs and competing with Americans' businesses that are tariff-free, then we might see a large sucking sound of Canadian jobs moving south of the border. We cannot accept the deindustrialization of our economy. That would put us at an incredible position of weakness while threatening the jobs of Canadians. We don't have to accept that. We need to fight for the good deal Mr. Carney promised. Conservatives put forward a real plan to leverage our natural resources through a strategic oil and minerals reserve that would be accessible to all of our tariff-free allies, to use our massive military purchases as leverage to access tariff-free trade with our allies, to put all of our leverage on the table and fight for Canada. That is what we expect the Prime Minister to do, and that is what we are fighting for. We are hoping that he will get the good deal that he promised. We also want the communities in which we live to be affordable once again. So we are fighting for an end to all gas taxes until Canada Day, which would save you $1,000. It would make it more affordable for small businesses to ship their goods and allow our big businesses to compete with their American counterparts. We are pushing for an end to the industrial carbon tax, the anti-development laws. Let's cut back on bureaucracy, consultants, foreign aid, handouts to fake and phony asylum claimants. Let's stop giving our money away to other countries when we have desperate needs here at home, and let's use the savings to bring down debt, inflation, and taxes. But we all need safety for that to happen, and that brings me back to the core message here today. Our friend Kelly has been fighting to restore safety in our streets and hope to the hopeless. We know that increasingly in this community, drugs are a growing problem. Just recently, there was a community drug alert issued for Waterloo Region after 37 suspected overdoses and 1 death were recorded between July 30th and August 3rd. These are not just statistics. Behind every overdose is a child, a parent, a friend, a neighbor. While families suffer, liberals soft on crime, easy policies on drugs have unleashed crime and chaos on our communities. Bill C-5, which repealed mandatory jail times for drug-related minimums, for drug-related offenses. Bill C-75, catch and release bail. They all remain on the books after a year and a half of Mark Carney. The Liberal Bill C-16, Mr. Carney's own bill, brings in a get-out-of-jail-free card, allowing judges to ignore mandatory jail time and turn criminals loose on our streets. But we are fighting back. Conservatives want tough new laws to lock up serious drug offenders. Anyone caught with over 40 milligrams of fentanyl should get a life sentence. That's enough fentanyl to kill 20 people. These are mass murderers, and they should be treated as such. We also believe that the police need resources to deal with possession of illegal substances. And that is why Kelly has put forward Bill C-240, which will allow courts to order rehabilitation measures, including education, job training, and addiction treatment during custody, and would include rehabilitation in the process. So simply put, if someone has lost the faculties to make their own decisions and they are in possession of illegal substances, they should be arrested and put in treatment and recovery services so that their lives can be saved. It is not compassionate to leave them face first on the pavement where they will die of a drug overdose. That is not compassion. And our jails should be drug-free. There should be drug testing in prisons, mandatory drug treatment in prisons, and there should be isolation for anyone caught in bringing drugs into our prisons. Our prisons, by the way, are turning into Lord of the Flies. The prison union in Drumheller has told me, the union of prison guards have told me that there are drones that are literally flying right up to the windows of prisoners and handing them drugs. You're telling me we can't find a way to stop that? And there are no consequences when they get caught. So they do it again and again and again, endangering the lives of prison guards and making sure that these criminals get out even worse than when they went in. We don't want to send them to a university of crime. We want to send them to a place where they turn their lives around and come out better citizens. And that is what Kelly is requiring in her bill, treatment in our prisons. The same principle is reflected in the Friends of David Act, introduced by Luc Berthold, a member of Parliament for the Conservatives in Quebec, who lost his own son tragically to a drug overdose. He wants to avail drug treatment facilities to young people like his son who would have been alive today, potentially, had he had that availability to him. By helping youth across the country find recovery, we will turn this crisis around. And by passing Conservative MP Chakow's bill, Stopping Supply to Save Lives Act, known as Emily's Legacy, we will target drug dealers, traffickers, and organized criminals. Under the legislation, individuals convicted of trafficking and processing synthetic drugs such as fentanyl and analogs over 20 milligrams will face 15 years imprisonment. Individuals convicted of over 40 milligrams of possession will face a life sentence. Chacow joins with Dan Mazier, another one of our MPs, to ensure that safe injection sites cannot be placed within 500 meters of an elementary or secondary school, a daycare center, or a playground. I can't believe we even have to pass a law to say this. Why would would the Liberal government even consider allowing drug consumption sites next to playgrounds, secondary schools, and elementary schools? This is outrageous. In fact, I will make a commitment that I will not be approving any drug consumption sites as Prime Minister of Canada. We will not allow these to go ahead. We don't want drug consumption, we want drug treatment. So our mission again is fewer drugs on our streets, fewer victims in our communities, and more people getting a chance to turn their lives around. We want to replace helplessness with hope, danger with safety, and we want to restore the promise of this country, that anyone from anywhere can achieve anything, that no matter how low you fall, there's always hope of getting back up on your feet and doing as Kelly did, which is to climb to the mountaintop to aspire others. And my message to anyone who's addicted is this: we need you. We need you. I went into a treatment center in Windsor, and I said to the men there, I'm not here to offer my help. I need you to help me. I've got a project for you. You need to get better. And then you need to go out on the street and grab a brother or sister and bring them in here and get them better. And then they're going to go out onto the street and grab another one. And we're going to keep doing that until we defeat this crisis and every one of our brothers and sisters sees their lives turned around in a hopeful and bright future for Canada. Thank you very much. Any questions, anybody?
Thank you. We'll now open the floor to questions.
Right here. I have a question.
From reporters.
No, me. I'm just gonna
Yes. Yes, good to see you, Louise. Yes, thank you very much, Louise. We, in our election platform, we have a costed plan to fund 50,000 treatment beds right across the country. And I have to look at the exact per patient cost level. I think it is in the neighborhood of about $15,000 or $20,000 per patient. You're right, it is not cheap. That said, the first thing I want to say is we have a different funding model completely. The funding model I want to use is that we will only pay organizations that succeed in getting people off drugs. So what we don't want to do is see the same interest groups that have caused this problem and who have profited off of its worsening to simply change the name on the door from safe supply to treatment and then get the money. So we will only fund organizations that have a track record of getting people off drugs, and then future funding will be based on follow-ups with patients to see if they are drug-free, and then we will pay the treatment center for every month they keep a former addict drug-free. They can then take that money and use it on the next incoming addict. This will create organic growth of those organizations like, for example, Harvest House in Ottawa, or which one? Russo? Sorry, Bruce? Bruce Oak in Winnipeg, absolutely, I visited that one. It will allow them to grow organically through their success, and frankly, it will defund the organizations that have made this problem worse. We will also get money to pay for this by cutting off all of the falsely named programs that they call harm reduction and safe supply. It's all garbage. And frankly, these interest groups, they have profited off of this nightmare. They have no interest in solving the problem because then their budgets get cut. They want to make it bigger, and I'm going to cut them off entirely and put the money into the organizations that prove they get people off drugs. Thank you. And Louise, also I'll get my team, can my team reach out to Louise and get her the extract from the platform with the exact costing of our 50,000 spaces, so you'll have that for your story. Thanks, Louise.
Good morning, John Dalsong from CBC Kitchener. If you could please answer our questions in both English and French. First one is it acceptable for Canada to accept a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum as part of a deal with the U.S.?
No, absolutely not. I'm very concerned about the deindustrialization of our country if our key industries pay one-sided tariffs. So I was at an aluminum company yesterday, and they say their competitors on the American side of the border are not paying any kind of tariff. Well, they are. So tell me how the Canadian company is supposed to compete against an American company when only our guy pays the tariff. I don't know how it's going to work. Mr. Carney's got to tell us how he's going to avoid the full deindustrialization of our economy if he accepts one-sided tariffs as part of this deal. We want the good deal that Mark Carney promised. Remember, he said that his entire election campaign was about elbows up, don't accept a bad deal. Well, one-sided tariffs on Canadian industry would be a bad deal. We want a good deal, and that means full free trade and open competition within North America.
In French, please.
Merci beaucoup. Non, ce n'est pas acceptable d'avoir une entente qui applique des tarifs à nos secteurs, uniquement à nos secteurs. Je ne sais pas comment nos entreprises vont pouvoir faire concurrence contre les entreprises qui ne paient pas les mêmes tarifs. Je m'inquiète que ça va causer la désindustrialisation de notre pays, que les entreprises vont quitter le pays en masse pour éviter de payer le tarif au sud de la frontière, et ça va nous coûter les emplois et l'autonomie de notre économie. M. Carney a promis une bonne entente, sans tarif, il doit livrer.
U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance has suggested that Jamil Jivani has played an important role in the trade negotiations. Were you aware of Jivani's efforts, and do you think they were influential?
I told all my members of Parliament to use every single contact they had to fight for Canada and Canadian jobs. And I reiterate that to any of our MPs or any Canadian. If you have contacts south of the border, use those to put pressure to fight for tariff-free trade so that we can protect our industries and have renewed access to the biggest and most lucrative market anywhere on earth.
Thank you very much. That's all the time we have for questions.
Excellent. Thanks very much, everyone. Good to see you.
All right. You want to introduce me? I'll just go.
You're gonna. Oh yes, we now invite Todd Doherty. He's been our champion, the shadow minister responsible for this file, and one of the leading defenders of people who are suffering with mental health issues from northern BC. Todd Doherty.
Good morning, everyone. I'm used to when we say good morning in Prince George, we say Hadith.